As a parent, you really want to get everything and the best for your kids and send them out to school and learn. But also as a parent, there are times where I have to decide if the rent can wait a little, but not the food. I have to feed the children. I have to be able to send them to bed with something in their stomach.
The struggle is real, and the struggle is apparent everywhere that you look, especially for families here.
If you're not one of the first 20 or 50s and you're at the very end of the line, you're not going to be able to get all that was available at the beginning. Banana, por favor. You have to stop work or you have to miss work to be able to come and get this for free, because otherwise you might not be able to buy all the things that you're getting here. Nowadays, food is expensive.
Inflation is really impacting our families. It's really hurting their bottom lines. Our parents are not able to stretch their budget. We're able to at least fill their pantry enough to make it to payday or make it to next week.
It gives me peace, and emotionally, it's overwhelming. It gives you a sense of somehow crying because I know I made it, and I know I'm gonna bring home food for my family, and I don't have to worry about it. Okay.
Our families work so much and they work crazy hours, so they really rely on the public school system. So if their child doesn't get food through free lunch and breakfast, they're not going to be able to eat. They're going to have to find another way to feed them. We do our best to stretch our budget as much as we can, but we don't have funding during the summer. So most of our families, unfortunately, are going to have to find another source for that. For those that can write a check and those that can, make a financial contribution, if you heard just a quarter of the stories that we hear on a daily basis, you would know just how far that check can go for us. The old saying, it takes a village to raise a child, and for many of these families, we are that village.
Good morning, Transition Academy. This is Margaret speaking. How can we help you?
Transitional Academy was created in 2017 when we became aware that we had homeless students here on campus. So we tackle three things here at Transitional Academy. Students that's faced with homelessness, students that's faced with housing instability, students that's faced with food insecurity. So the Transitional Academy is important here at Medgar Evers College because we become the advocate or the vehicle to make sure we get those resources for them so they can stay on track, graduate on time, and improve their living conditions.
When you were at Medgar, besides being a full-time student, what did you do here?
Yeah, so for the social work program, all the students had to complete an internship our last year. And I was fortunate and honored and blessed enough to be matched with Dr. Boone at the Transition Academy. The story with Dr. Boone is that he has a passion for his students. And that's a passion that I feel like I've inherited from him.
How did you feel about the summit?
I feel like the summit, not only was it delayed, I feel like this is a conversation that should have happened long before the Transition Academy was even created. But it's also unfortunate that it is a conversation that we have to have, that we have students that we see on a daily basis that we don't know what their struggles are.
While working with the Transition Academy, whether you were with the students or with the community, what are some of the misconceptions that you've seen or heard that about the food insecurity?
Well, I always was saying to my interns when I supervised them, you never know who the person is sitting next to you in a classroom. They can come in, fresh Nikes, nice top, expensive bag, but you still never know if when they go home they have something to eat. You don't know if maybe that expensive bag was gifted. It doesn't mean that they have money or enough money. And that goes for homelessness as well, because they intersect each other. So you truly never know who you're sitting next to until you open yourself and you have a conversation with them. And then you start to realize, okay, there's more layers to a person than just a student sitting next to me in the classroom.
What would you like for people to have taken away from this summit today?
I would like for people to understand the gravity of the situation, and that not only does food insecurity start in colleges, but to know that it starts even as soon as when you're born, right? And to also understand that this today is not a solution to all. We have to take actions after today based on the knowledge that we've just received.
I'm a junior at Medgar Evers College with a major in psychology. Juggling school with 2 children and being homeless was a traumatizing time. Once you have nowhere to live, you have no plan. Having limited food because I have nowhere to live. Even if I had money for food, there was nowhere to store the food. I felt really overwhelmed, having to deal with so many things at one time. Yes, I felt hurt. Yes, I felt pain.
Good morning, Transition Academy. This is Margaret speaking. How can we help you?
But with the help of the Transition Academy, I was able to know that I had people on my side that would advocate for me. They honestly helped to save my life. I wouldn't be where I am today without the help of them. And I feel really honored to know that there's people that care. It's not just a job here.
Welcome.
It's people that's gonna work hard, sun up to sundown, to make sure that you meet the needs to be successful in school. And it may be just giving out food to others, but for myself who had nothing, this is all I could turn to when I needed anything. I just want to say to them, thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your compassionate hearts. Thank you for going above and beyond. And what you do is very important to students like myself.
We have quality food here. So when people hear about pantries, they thinking about dented cans, old food. But when they come in here, they get a variety. So not only do we offer food, we also offer toiletries as well here, because you get students don't have the funding to buy the deodorant, don't have the funding to buy the lotion, the toothpaste and stuff. So we offer that to them as well. We don't just offer the non-perishable items. We also offer fresh produce. So we also give them fresh vibe markers, in which we partner with Campaign Against Hunger. So the Campaign Against Hunger comes twice a month, where we give the student vouchers where they can go purchase this fresh produce at a reduced price. We also work with Food Town. So if we don't have something in our pantry, we can give them a Food Town voucher to supplement the things that we don't have. We believe food is a human right, and these students should be able to have food and have access to food. I think we use our platform in the right way. We don't just use it to showboat the students or get accolades. We do it for the right cause, and our cause is to make sure they get a high educational degree.
I'm a junior at Medgar Evers College with a major in psychology. Juggling school with 2 children and being homeless was a traumatizing time. Once you have nowhere to live, you have no plan. Having limited food because I have nowhere to live. Even if I had money for food, there was nowhere to store the food. I felt really overwhelmed, having to deal with so many things at one time. Yes, I felt hurt. Yes, I felt pain.
Good morning, Transition Academy. This is Margaret speaking. How can we help you?
But with the help of the Transition Academy, I was able to know that I had people on my side that would advocate for me. They honestly helped to save my life. I wouldn't be where I am today without the help of them. And I feel really honored to know that there's people that care. It's not just a job here.
Welcome.
It's people that's gonna work hard, sun up to sundown, to make sure that you meet the needs to be successful in school. And it may be just giving out food to others, but for myself who had nothing, this is all I could turn to when I needed anything. I just want to say to them, thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your compassionate hearts. Thank you for going above and beyond. And what you do is very important to students like myself.
I have Cass Conrad. She is the executive director of the Petrie Foundation, and she's here with us today at the summit just to give some information. How are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. So can you tell me a bit about the Petrie Foundation?
Sure. The Carol and Milton Petrie Foundation is an independent foundation that makes grants to colleges and other nonprofit organizations in New York City. Our goal is to support young people in New York City in terms of economic mobility, and we really focus on improving college completion rates and helping young people move from college into good careers.
What motivates you to do what you do?
I love this. I've worked in and around CUNY for a long time. and know that CUNY is a special place and helps students achieve their own goals in life and really contribute to the life of the city. And one of the things that we have been proud to support for a long time are food pantries across CUNY campuses. So we support pantries at about 20 different CUNY colleges in New York City. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. What realities must some face when speaking about the insecurities of food?
I think folks don't really realize that that there are so many people, including college students, who are food insecure. I think a lot of people assume that if you're in college, you can go to the cafeteria and get what you need, or maybe even live in a dorm and get what you need. And we know for a lot of CUNY students, that's just not quite the same picture. They're living at home. They've probably got 2 or 3 jobs on the side and trying to make all of the ends meet. So there's a lot of food insecurity out there, and students need a little help to get through the day and make sure they have what they need to get through school.
That kind of goes into my next question with what are some of the misconceptions about the food insecurity?
Yeah, I think those are the idea that that it's only a small number of people who have food insecurity. I think it's a pretty widespread thing, especially with the cost of food these days, and I think there's still some stigma. Some folks don't want to admit that they may have trouble making ends meet sometimes, but we all do. We all need a little help sometimes.
What are some of the needs as the holidays approach? How can we get you volunteers and donations and things like that?
So we actually don't really take donations. We actually make the donations, so I feel really excited about that. And as I said, we do support a lot of food distribution efforts around the holidays. We're always happy to help make connections between organizations that want to do that. So folks who are interested can reach out to us if they're interested in sort of making a connection to any of the college campuses or any of the food pantry efforts that we're supporting.
Okay, and how can people reach out to you if they wanted to?
Our website is pretty easy. It's Petrie, PETRIE.org, O-R-G. So
Petrie.org.
that's right.
And thank you. I do appreciate you. Welcome back, MEC. I have with me
Rob Friedlander, Director of Advocacy with Swipe Out Hunger.
and
Lisa Nishimura. I'm the New York Engagement Coordinator for Young Invincibles.
what are you? You're the coordinator.
Yes.
And you are
A Director of Advocacy.
Director of Advocacy. I just have a couple of questions for you guys. What realities must people face when talking about food insecurities?
Oh, you want me to go start first? You want to go first?
Yeah, I mean, and so I think the challenges that students face is every day goes just well beyond food insecurity as well. What we know is that living here in New York City, that it's an expensive city to live, and there are a lot of challenges that students face. Everything from increasing rent prices, increasing transportation, lack of healthcare, and I think that there's a lot of services in addition to food that students need every day in order to succeed. And that's why it's really great to be working with Walik and all the great folks at Medgar Evers who are really combating all of those issues that students face every day.
Sorry, because the fares are going up, rent is going up, but people's annual income is not going up.
Exactly. Yeah. And that just, adds to the pressure that students have to feel every single day.
And just to add on to that, I do feel like we need to start addressing food insecurity as a whole. So not just looking at, okay, we have food insecurity, but all of these issues are siloed. So housing insecurity, also mental health is a problem. I know that a lot of the advocates that I've spoken to as a part of the Young Advocates program that I run have told me that, hey, I'm facing food insecurity, but that has affected my mental health, or I'm facing food insecurity and housing insecurity that has affected my mental health. So we need to start not looking at things in a siloed way. We need to start looking at things really holistically and being able to address the problems as a whole and not just one thing at a time.
Absolutely. What misconceptions do you witness when speaking of food and shelter insecurities, and how can we combat them?
I think a lot of folks think when we're talking about food insecurity, when we're talking about homelessness or housing security, that you just see folks on the street, but it can be anybody. And this is just solely speaking from my experience and also running the Young Advocates program. A lot of the advocates, if you look at them, You would have never thought that, oh, they're facing food insecurity or they're facing housing insecurity or both, or even mental health challenges. Because a lot of times, especially in communities of color, we're taught to not talk about these issues, right? Be strong, save face, right? But food insecurity, housing insecurity can look a variety of ways, and we need to stop having just this one way of thinking of how folks are experiencing food insecurity, housing insecurity. So that's what I would say is like, you never know what someone is going through, and we need to start talking to people and building community, because that's how we start getting people to talk and actually bring together people to address these issues.
We also need to start speaking up, not just because we don't know who to talk to.
Exactly.
You know, we can't just go out to anyone and just start speaking about these things because they may not be going through it. They may not know anyone. But I think that it goes hand in hand with listening, people also speaking up and letting people know that they need help.
And also not, I just want to say like real quick, just not feeling shame or guilt, right? If you are experiencing food insecurity, if you're experiencing housing insecurity, because people have various circumstances, right? And it's not shameful to talk about these issues, like really speaking up, as you were saying, and reaching out to people for help. Like we're here, like Swipe Out Hunger is here, Young Invincibles. Medgar Evers is an amazing college, right? With the Transition Academy and other campuses across CUNY have resources. So please speak up, whoever that you trust. Do not feel afraid. Don't feel shameful, because you never know.
What messages do you hope the attendees will take away from today's summit?
Yeah, I think the number one message is that it takes resources in order to fight hunger on college campuses, that this takes an entire community. So what that means is that we need everyone from Medgar Evers College to the CUNY system to our state leaders in Albany to step up to the plate, to put resources behind these programs, to make sure that amazing people like the Transition Assistance Academy, like Walik Boone here, have more staff, have more resources, to make sure that we are putting money and focus behind our words up on stages, and that we make sure that we are putting as much focus and attention as we can on this issue to be able to finally end it.
And also, as a young adult organization, really centering student voices and listening to students, listening to the young adults, because that's what we're all about, is uplifting young adult voices in the political process. And we work with age ranges 18 to 34. And really, I would say to everybody, please listen to the students, please listen to the young adults, right? They're the ones who have firsthand experience of food insecurity, housing insecurity, mental health challenges. They have the answers. They're the closest to the problem, and they're also closest to the solution. That's what I always say, and that's what we always say. It's like folks who have experienced this firsthand, they know what needs to be done. And so as Rob was saying, we need to work collectively as a community to be able to address all of the issues, not just one, but all of it collectively. Mm-hmm.
I agree. And how can, if anyone wanted to, how can we donate and help volunteer with you guys?
Yeah, I mean, my message is volunteer here on campus. Reach out to Walik. Get onto campus. He needs as much help as he can possibly get. Working the food pantries, working the community food events twice a month. Come onto campus. There's so many different ways to get involved here in your local community.
And just adding on to that too, like I second that. Also get involved with different clubs on campuses, like social work clubs, even nonprofit organizations like Swipe Out Hunger, Young Invincibles. We also have like NIPERG. I know NIPERG is, I don't see NIPERG here, but they're also a public policy organization. So please get involved. Also, if you can intern, work with an elected official, get that policy experience, learn how to advocate in your community, join a community board, for example, too. Like different communities have their own community board, so getting involved with your local community, I would say that. Yeah.
Any information for your organizations, websites, or anything, any information you want to give out to the public?
I would just say go on younginvincibles.org. I mean, that's our website, and look at YI New York. That's where I'm based, so yeah, please check us out.
Thank you. Yeah, swipehunger.org or at swipeouthunger on Instagram.
And there we have it. Thank you. Appreciate you.
I'm a junior at Medgar Evers College with a major in psychology. Juggling school with 2 children and being homeless was a traumatizing time. Once you have nowhere to live, you have no plan. Having limited food because I have nowhere to live. Even if I had money for food, there was nowhere to store the food. I felt really overwhelmed having to deal with so many things at one time. Yes, I felt hurt. Yes, I felt pain.
Good morning, Transition Academy. This is Margaret speaking. How can we help you?
But with the help of the Transition Academy, I was able to know that I had people on my side that would advocate for me. They honestly helped to save my life. I wouldn't be where I am today without the help of them. And I feel really honored to know that there's people that care. It's not just a job here. It's people that's gonna work hard, sun up to sundown, to make sure that you meet the needs to be successful in school. And it may be just giving out food to others, but for myself who had nothing, this is all I could turn to when I needed anything. I just want to say to them, thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your compassionate hearts. Thank you for going above and beyond. And what you do is very important to students like myself.
Hey, MEC. We have Nicole Hunt, and she is the
Associate Director of Public Policy at Food Bank for New York City.
How long have you been?
Just under 2 years at Food Bank.
Okay, what is it that you actually do?
So I work on the public affairs team, and basically we keep track of public policy and government programs that impact both the work that Food Bank does, but also the people that we serve in the community, and try to involve both community members and our network members in advocacy and in working with their elected officials for policy that helps achieve food security.
Okay. A question. What do you think some of the challenges are, or the reality is, when speaking about food insecurity?
So I think one of the things about food insecurity is that it's really hidden. I think that food is one of those budget items that we can mess with in a way that we can't with, say, our rent or our tuition or our light bill. So when it's the end of the month and there's not enough, food, I think, is often where that cut happens for folks. So it's even today, you'll see people talking about they just didn't recognize that this was an issue. So I think food insecurity is something that is hidden, and even when we look around and think to ourselves, no, none of these people are struggling with food, we don't really know what that looks like. And so I think we need to remember that it doesn't really have a face. It affects all communities. And yeah, that's what I think is one of the things that we need to remember.
You answered my second question about the misconceptions, because, it just, you think that, or some people think that people have to look a certain way.
Right.
And that's not it. You could look polished,
yes,
but still be hungry.
Yes, and you could be working and still be hungry. There's a lot of different faces to hunger. I think that that's important to remember. I think, tuition is going up, prices of food are going up, rent is going up. The only thing that's not going up, right, is wages, is how much money we make. So, I think it's a growing problem, and one that really needs more attention, like the events we're having today.
Yeah. So, what you here sponsoring this summit, what do you hope for people to take away from it?
I hope that people take away that there are resources out there for folks, that there is not stigma associated with asking for help when you don't have enough to eat, and that there are things that we can do to reach students and staff in need and to help improve policy for all of us. So, that there is a problem, but that there is stuff that we can do now, and there is stuff that we can fight for to help make things better in the future.
Do you have a website or an email or anything you would like to give to our viewers to support you in any way?
So people can text college to, let me see if I can remember it, or wait, I'm going to look here so I don't give it to you wrong. People can text college to 44654, and that will sign you up for our advocacy team, and you can get updates about this issue and also other issues that Food Bank is involved in, and ways to help and advocate for these programs. So that is text college to 44654 and join the Food Bank Action Team.
Okay, great. And then you can also
you can visit foodbanknyc.org/advocate for this and other campaigns that we're involved in.
Thank you very much. We appreciate you. Thank you, Nicole Hunt.
factors impact food insecurity on college campuses.
Take your pick. Low wages, unemployment, homelessness, student loan debt. About 40% of college students face food insecurity nationwide.
Student hunger should not be part of the college experience.
Please join the Transition Academy at Medgar Evers College to help combat student hunger. For more information, please call 718-270-6988.
That's 718-270-6988 or scan the QR code for more details.
MEC, we have more special guests. We have the NYPD here with us. And ladies, can you please introduce yourselves and let us know where you work and the things that you do?
Sure. Good afternoon, everybody. Happy to be here at Medgar Evers College. My name is Sergeant James. I represent the NYPD Community Affairs Brooklyn Outreach.
Hi, I'm Officer Stewart. I also represent Community Outreach under Community Affairs.
Hi, I'm Officer Walker, representing Brooklyn Community Outreach, a part of NYPD Community Affairs.
Ladies, we appreciate you being here. We appreciate you just in general for your everyday work. Couple of questions. What are some misconceptions on the food shortage or the crisis that we have right now with food?
I would say one of the misconceptions is that food banks, food pantries are simply for lower class. It's for everyone nowadays because things are so high and expensive. Working class people also need to depend on the food pantries as far as food insecurities go.
At the summit, they did bring that to our attention that most kids feel like, oh, they're embarrassed to go get food. And I feel like it's not just the kids, it's the older people too. And everyone needs support.
I agree. I think that the first thing is that we need to notice that recognize that the people that are standing next to us, sitting next to us, whether it be in a classroom, at work, on a train, or in the store, we don't know what people are going through. And just because they have clothes on their backs or just because they have a little change, it doesn't mean that they're not hungry. It doesn't mean that they don't have shelter. And the same goes for children. They can have all the energy in the world at a point, but at another point, they may just be really down and drowsy because they don't have breakfast and lunch and dinner at home. So, we just have to keep our eyes open, be a little more aware.
Yes.
And just, each one teach one.
Exactly, because some of the students that attend schools, breakfast and lunch is their only meal of the day. When they go home, they have nothing, or they have very limited resources. And if your belly isn't full, it's hard to focus on your schoolwork.
Since the pandemic, have you ladies witnessed any or heard of any crimes around the food crisis that's been going on?
Yes, so there are many crimes as far as larcenies that turn into robberies based off of the food crimes taken from grocery stores, the chain stores. It'll be a bad larceny that goes whether they hit the security or hit the customer service or the cashier in regards to doing that. So yeah, it is a spike because there are people can't afford food. They can't afford the necessities, whether it's water, juice, milk, eggs. So yeah, it is.
And as a result of those larcenies and people stealing everyday essentials like soap, laundry detergent, and food from stores like CVS, Rite Aid. Everybody knows New York, 116th Street, we have a big Target that's now closing.
Mm-hmm.
And that affects the community in a big way.
Yeah, I've heard about that. They say because, security, they don't want to risk their lives just for, and then you don't know what people are going through. Not that that's an excuse or a reason to take, but everyone's trying to give everybody their space, whether it's to be great or to feed your belly.
Right.
As far as your organization, what is it that you guys, what can you input to help with as far as education or anything physically done?
Well, one of the things that we've done, there's not only food insecurities, there's basic essential insecurities. There's insecurities with baby essentials. And one of the things that I've been able to do because of some of my community partners is I've been able to receive these resources and give back. Like, for instance, I've given Dr. Boone diapers, I've given him baby wipes to be able to give to those in need and the students. So whenever I get resources from my community partner, I try to give it back to the community that's in need.
Ladies, we greatly appreciate you just on an everyday human level.
Thank you so
and
much.
keep up the great work. Thank you for joining us at this summit. Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.
% of college students face food insecurity nationwide. It's hard to learn on an empty stomach. Food insecurity can lead to low grades, poor health, and lack of focus. Transition Academy can help. Give us a call at 718-270-6988. That's 718-270-6988.
As a parent, you really want to get everything and the best for your kids and send them out to school and learn. But also as a parent, there are times where I have to decide if the rent can wait a little, but not the food. I have to feed the children. I have to be able to send them to bed with something in their stomach.
The struggle is real, and the struggle is apparent everywhere that you look, especially for families here.
If you're not one of the first 20 or 50s and you're at the very end of the line, you're not gonna be able to get all that was available at the beginning. Banana, por favor. You have to stop work or you have to miss work to be able to come and get this for free. Because otherwise you might not be able to buy all the things that you're getting here. Nowadays, food is expensive.
Inflation is really impacting our families. It's really hurting their bottom lines. Our parents are not able to stretch their budget. We're able to at least fill their pantry enough to make it to payday or make it to next week.
It gives me peace, and emotionally, it's overwhelming. It gives you a sense of somehow crying because I know I made it. And I know I'm gonna bring home food for my family and I don't have to worry about it.
Okay. Our families work so much and they work crazy hours, so they really rely on the public school system. So if their child doesn't get food through free lunch and breakfast, they're not gonna be able to eat. They're gonna have to find another way to feed them. We do our best to stretch our budget as much as we can, but we don't have funding during the summer. So most of our families, unfortunately, are going to have to find another source for that. For those that can write a check and those that can, make a financial contribution, if you heard just a quarter of the stories that we hear on a daily basis, you would know just how far that check can go for us. The old saying, it takes a village to raise a child, and for many of these families, we are that village.